Hi there, thanks for joining us for today's video. Please make sure that you click subscribe to keep up to date with all of our content. This will include short how-to videos, webinars and demonstrations of all of our products. Check out the links in the description below to check out any content related to today's video, and we hope that you enjoy it. So today we're going to be looking at Activities-to-Go, which is ready-made and editable content that's available within Boardmaker 7. And I'm going to give you some information about it and talk a little bit about how to use it and some of the features that are available as well. So I'm just going to clear this. Fantastic. Okay, so Boardmaker Activities-to-Go is a printable activities that will allow you to quickly access lessons and activities, print them and take them on the go. So the idea is that they're ready-made activities that you can use. They're based on thematic instruction, which means that the materials available within them support that kind of meaningful instruction. So the lessons and the activities are organised around topics that are helpful to build our learners' kind of world knowledge. So we're supporting areas like science and social studies, and also looking at kind of development of functional life skills as well. Each of these activities are also leveled. So we've actually leveled these into 3 different levels, knowing that our population varies differently depending on their ability levels, and even sometimes within the same group or the same classroom, we need to differentiate. So we've made sure that we've done that with each of our activities. And finally, of course, we've made sure that these activities are as engaging as they possibly can. So we've got some main activities that include things like books and games. We've got some speech and language specific activities, and then we've got things like behaviour supports as well. So the great thing about these is that now available within Boardmaker 7, if you are a subscriber, so you've got a subscription version of Boardmaker 7, you'll actually have access to 40 weeks of content, which is lots and lots that's available, which is really fantastic. And the other exciting thing now is that these activities can also be edited. So you can kind of take what we've already created and maybe edit them to either suit the needs of your learner a little bit more, or maybe just take the kind of bones of it and create your own topics that are maybe more suited to what your learner is learning about. So for those of you that have maybe kind of known Activities-to-Go for a while, we had 10 weeks of instruction, and now we've increased that for our Boardmaker 7 subscribers for having over 40 weeks of instruction. So let's have a bit of a look at what that looks like. So these are the themes that we cover. So we've got 10 different themes, and these are themes that have been chosen to support things that we might learn about in the curriculum, but also themes and topics that really support that idea of building world knowledge and developing a vocabulary as well. And so within each of these themes, we've got 4 units per theme. So this is where the 40 weeks comes from. So you'll see that there's different 4 different units for each theme that we've got. And they cover all sorts of different things. So you can see we've got kind of science-based, we've got community-based activities. So within each of those, if we take a look at this, so let's take the space theme as an example. We've got the 4 different units. So we've got planets, moons, sun, and constellations. And you'll see that each of those units is differentiated to 3 different levels. So you've got level A, B, and C for each of those units. So let's have a bit of a look at what those levels mean. So level A being the kind of entry level. So this might be for some of our younger learners, or those that are at the kind of earliest stages of learning. So some of our kind of emergent learners. Then kind of stepping it up a little bit to level B, which may be those kind of early secondary age learners, or those that are beginning to develop some or demonstrate some independent skills or knowledge. And then moving on to level C, which is for maybe some of our older learners, or those that have got kind of increasing capacity to engage with books and kind of learning resources. So you can see how it's kind of a bit of a step up for each of those. So the idea hopefully being that even if you're working with quite a diverse group of people, that you'll be able to differentiate, even if you're working on the same level, on the same theme, sorry, we'll be able to differentiate to their levels. So let's kind of dig in and see what each of these kind of units looks like. So the unit will provide you with a bit of a teacher's guide, and in here it will talk about the different activities that we've got. So first I'll take a quick look at the kind of main activities that we have available. So we've got 8 different types of main activities that you'll see across all of the different units. So it's going to be the same kind of activities, but obviously the theme and the topic will change. So the first one is looking at either a hidden picture or word web. So this is kind of your introductory activity. So we're really trying to kind of introduce the concept, the kind of theme that we're going to work on. And we kind of want to activate some of that background knowledge. So maybe tap into some of the things that they maybe already know about that theme. So at level A, so that kind of beginning level, you're going to be provided with this hidden picture. So the idea here is that I put the picture down, I'm going to cut up those white squares and cover up the picture. And one by one, we're going to take those squares away. And we're going to try and guess what the topic's about. We can also do things like talk about what we see. So I might want to do some modelling around what colour I see, who I see in the picture. And so really the idea is to kind of activate some of that knowledge around that. And then at levels B and C, they'll be looking at a word web. So this is the kind of more advanced activity. So we're going to provide the symbols to start a discussion around the targeted concept. So we're going to provide them with lots of different vocabulary around that, and they're going to use that to complete the word web. And kind of define the concept that we're talking about. And of course, maybe if we've got some maybe more advanced learners, they may want to do things like write in some of those boxes instead, or maybe draw some of their own pictures as they're talking about that concept too. Next, we're going to do an activity specifically around the vocabulary. So the idea here is that we're going to expand that knowledge around these specific words around this topic. The idea with here is that the first thing we're going to do is much like I got you to do at the beginning. We're going to ask the student to sort some of the vocabulary that we're going to be looking at. So we want them to kind of help us identify words that maybe they already know, words that they don't know, or words that they're a bit unsure about. And this as an instructor also helps us to kind of look at a baseline for where they're at. So it really helps me to understand, okay, they've put all of these and I don't know. So I think, this is going to be vocabulary that might be a little bit more tricky for them. And then we'll move on to the specific activity sheets, and there'll be an activity sheet for each of those words that we're going to be looking at. And so it'll give you a definition. It'll help the student to pick out a symbol that will help them remember that word. And then it'll also do things like put the word into a sentence. So really, again, just trying to activate that knowledge around that specific vocabulary. We'll then have a look at a book. So this is going to provide that kind of foundational experience for the unit. This is really kind of providing a great opportunity for linking that kind of literacy learning into there based around the theme. Obviously, a great opportunity for shared reading as well. And you'll see how the books are kind of differentiated. So the first one is level A, where we've got kind of, shorter sentences. And then level B and C, we include kind of more complex language, more words. So it kind of works through those different levels as well. Then we've got nice writing activities. So this is actually something that's fairly new. In our previous versions of the Activities-to-Go, we didn't have any writing activities in, but we got some feedback that people using these really wanted to include some in. So again, you can see at level A, we're just going to get somebody to draw a picture or maybe write a little bit about that picture. Level B is going to be more kind of opinion writing, and level C might be more based around paragraph writing. And of course, if I've got somebody using a high-tech device, I might want to encourage them to use their access method to engage with that as well. Then we've got some graph sorting and matching activities. Again, so this is looking at reinforcing the concepts and the vocabularies. Again, graphs is fairly new. This is, again, some feedback that we got of maybe trying to include a bit of that kind of a maths element into there as well. And so, yeah, again, this is just providing more opportunities to reinforce those concepts. And then we're going to further that through play. So we've got these bingo games, which is a tried and tested game that everybody loves. Again, the size of the board is differentiated throughout the levels. And this can work in a couple of ways. We can target receptive language by having the students identify the word or the symbol as they hear it. Or we can flip that over and maybe get the students to be the bingo caller, and they can practice some of their expressive language, either verbally or through using their device. So there's lots and lots of opportunities there. And as well, they can do things like practice some of that functional language. So practicing things like, I have that, I don't have that, who's got this symbol? So it's kind of engaging in some of those social interactions as well. We have these recipe and craft activities. So again, just learning through kind of play and fun and kind of celebrating that theme. So it might be a quick kind of cooking activity or building or making a nice craft as well. Again, we have a board game. So these are quite nice. So the idea with this is that they have to answer questions. If they get it correct, they move across the board. If they don't, they have to try again. And so all of these questions are symbol supported, and it's all going to be based on that theme as well. And then obviously the questions kind of differ in complexity depending on which level that we're working at. So in addition to the kind of main activities that we also have some additional activities. So we've got things like some activity schedules. So this is kind of aiming at kind of supporting that behaviour when we're managing the flow of activities, and also really useful to kind of keep track of what we've done. So it's unlikely that we're going to complete all of these activities in one day or even 1 week. So we might want to keep coming back to it, and we need to make sure that we see, you know, what we've done and what we want to do next. We provide our communication book. So for those that maybe don't have a robust communication system either in place or available, they will have access to these core first books that will allow them to use core words and quick fires and also access some topics as well. We have classroom and student reward charts. So again, just trying to keep students engaged and motivated. So we've got some nice reward charts that can be used throughout these activities. And then we also have little quizzes that we can use either at the beginning or at the end of the kind of unit that we've done. So this will help us to do things like check kind of understanding of some of the key concepts and the vocabulary that we've been working on. And again, these are symbol supported and can be used kind of pre or post test post unit. Then we've got some of this kind of specific speech and language activities. So this Find the Object one is basically going to be targeting various speech sounds. So you can see this one is targeting this sound. So it's just going to get students to have a look in the picture and see what they can find. And then we have the following directions ones, which is going to be working more on their understanding. Again, looking at some of those concepts. So, you know, put a box on the happy spider, circle the angry spider. And again, just working on some of those key concepts. So included will be this teacher guide. So the teacher guide will give you kind of the big idea of what we're going to be working on. So in this one, they're looking at personal hygiene. So the big idea is going to be kind of good personal hygiene that will help you feel good as well as clean and healthy. It'll tell you what the activities are, the order that we need to do them in, what's available. It'll tell you what vocabulary you're going to be working at each level. It'll also give you some suggested books for further kind of instruction around that topic. So some books that you can read with the learner. And then it'll give you some really nice tips as well. So both for kind of learning tips as well as communication tips as well. So what I want to do now is I'm actually going to show you how to access this. So I'm just going to come out of here and let's bring this over. So I'm just going to come into my Boardmaker 7 editor here. And the first thing that I will see is maybe some of my recent activities that I've recently been working on or have maybe viewed. And I'm going to show you how to find the activities to go, how we can then print them off. And I'm also going to show you how we can edit them as well. So I'm going to go to this My Boardmaker section here. And within there, this is where I'm going to find all the activities that I've created. But at the very top here, you'll see a tab called My Curriculum. And if I go into there, I will have an option here to add curriculum. And it's going to ask if I want to do activities to go or my communication book. So I'm going to select activities to go. And then here you'll see all of those 10 units that we talked about that were available here. And so here simply all I'm going to do is I'm going to select the theme that I want to work on. So I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to go into life skills. And then I'll have the 4 units that we talked about. So for those that are subscribers, I'll have access to all 4 of these units. If you are a Boardmaker 7 standard user, you will have, I think, 1 unit per theme. So you'll have access to 10 units instead of the 40. So here I'm going to come in and I'm going to choose. So let's say I want to go into food choices. It's going to say which level that I want to choose that. So I'm just going to go straight down the middle and go for level B. And then here you'll see each of those activities that I've got available. So there's a couple of things that I can do here. I can just straight ahead go and download that as a PDF and just get those straight away and print them off. Or what I might want to do is actually add them to my curriculum. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this whole unit to my curriculum. So I've got that saved under my area. I'm just going to close this out. And now you'll see under my dashboard, under my curriculum, I'll just start that from the beginning so that you can see. If I go to my curriculum, you'll now see that I've got that life skills unit that I've just added. So now there's a couple of things I can do. I can come in, I'm going to select that food choices that we selected. And it might be that I want to maybe just print off, let's say, the activity schedule. So I can actually come in, I think it's taking a little bit of time to download. Let's say, ooh, got a little bit of a glitch there. Sorry, guys, it's not letting me access this right now. Let's hope that it's just catching up with itself. So the options here is that I can come in, find the activities as they are, and let's say I just want to print those off. I can create them into PDFs and print them off. Or the other thing that I can do is actually come in and maybe edit some of these. So let's see if it's going to allow me to do that. Here we go. Let's go to this one. So if I hover over the activity, I'm going to go do the word web. I've got the option to either just open that up and play it, or I can edit it. So I'm going to click on edit here. And now I can see I've got that word web, and then I've got the different food choices that I'm going to kind of place on that word web. Now, let's say I'm working with somebody and they don't like apples, and maybe I want to put some different food choices in there, things that they're more likely to engage with. I can just come in and I'm going to use my edit in place, and I'm just going to type in, let's say, pear, and hit enter. And now I'm going to get a choice of symbols. I'm just going to be happy with that symbol. I'm going to select it, and I've changed that. And let's say they don't like blackberries, but they do like strawberries. So I'm going to change that. Again, I'm just entering that in. I'm going to change that to strawberry, actually. Give you a better symbol, I think. Here we go. And straight away, I've been able to use that kind of template that's already available, come in, and make some edits to make it a little bit more personalized for the learner that I'm learning with. So let's say I want to go ahead and print that. I'm going to come up to the create a PDF. And I'm just going to open that up after creating, hit create. I'm going to choose where to save that. I can give it a name. And I might want to personalize that. I might say, you know, Alice's activity B. And then here we go. Now it's created that PDF with, oh, I didn't save as. Error there. So what I didn't do is save this. So let me backtrack a little bit. So now I've changed and made my changes. What I do need to do is to save that. So I'm going to come in up here, click save as, and I'm going to do Alice's food choices. There we go. And now it's going to save those changes that I've made. So now I'm going to go, I want to print that off. So I'm going to come up and create a PDF. And then once that's saved, I'm going to save that as Alice's food choices. I can now create this as a PDF. So now there's a couple of things I can do. I can print that off. I might want to attach that to an email to maybe send home so that parents can work on this. Maybe I want to send this to a colleague who's also working on this topic, and they want some ideas of activities as well. So a really nice way of taking what's there, making some nice changes to it, and personalizing it that way. The other thing that I can do is, if I return to this dashboard, rather than using kind of the units that are available, maybe I want to use those formats of those different activities, but I actually want to create my own topic. So what I can do is within my Boardmaker 7 editor, I'm going to click the new button. And if I go under the templates and go to printable, you'll see there's a whole subsection up here at the very top, which is the activities to go. And basically this will give you all of the templates that are available in those ready-made units that you can actually go ahead and create your own units with. So let's say I'm going to go to writing, I think. Let's have a look. So I'm going to go level B and I want to create a writing activity. I'm going to select that and hit create. And let's say we're going to do a topic around the Olympics because the Olympics is coming up. So I'm going to come into here and use this template. And I want them to do some writing. So let's say, oops, let's get rid of this. How would you feel if you won a gold medal? And then I'm going to insert some pictures here. So I'm going to put in gold, oops, medal. And I can choose my symbol here. I like this one. And then here I'm going to put in stadium. And then I might want to choose one of these, or I can go and use a web search. So there might be a specific stadium that I want to show. Let's see, let's choose this one. And then straight away, I've used that format, but I've created it for my own topic, which is going to be around the Olympics. So really simple way of kind of either using the ready-made materials that are there, those 40 units that you can just pick up and go. You can make some slight changes to make it more personalized to your students, or you can take that framework and create your own topic. And really, from that point of view, the opportunities are endless, really. You've got all of the activities there available. You can then just go and use those to create some of your own. So I'm just going to come back to my PowerPoint just to finish up. Let's switch this up. Here we go. So just wanted to go through some very quick kind of tips and tricks for using activities to go with your learners. So tip number one is the idea of reading and rereading. So we know that lots of kind of repeating and reading over again kind of boosts that comprehension and increases the students' independence and just knowledge of that vocabulary and the words that we're using. When we're kind of learning words, the idea is that the more words we know, the more concepts we can understand and then talk about. So really using as many opportunities as we can to point out these words, talk about them in different contexts, maybe try and link it to previous experiences. So, if we were talking about the gold medal, we might say something like, you won a gold medal at the sports day last year, remember? You wore it around your neck. So trying to link it into previous experience. Repetition with variety. So we know that the more we repeat things, the more our learners benefit from it. And so the idea with these is that if it's a concept that's working, then reuse them again and again. Use that editing to create, maybe there was a specific activity that your learner really liked. It might have been bingo, or it might have been the board game. Use that concept and do it over and over again with some different kind of topics. Number 4 is the idea of connecting that language and literacy. So making sure that we've always got access to our communication systems to be able to make that link when we're reading words, when we're reading the book, when we're exploring our word maps, always having that opportunity to communicate and talk about it and link the two. And then finally is looking at engagement. So making sure that we're providing those activities and books that are at the right level for our students. So thinking carefully about that differentiation, whether it's between the levels that we've provided, or whether it's maybe making some tweaks to the symbols and when you can edit them, making sure that we can encourage our learners to engage as much as possible.